All right. What's up, everybody? This is Jamie Kane with the Channel Unfiltered. I am joined by the one and only Sean Lardo from ConnectWise. How you doing, Sean?
Fantastic. And the one and only, I like that. I like that intro. Sam Hoyen is in the green room listening. Remember that, Sam? Moving forward, all calls before I enter, you will say that, and then I would jump into our calls.
Yeah, there you go. You're welcome, man. That's kind of my thing. That's every guest is the one and only. We want to make sure that you guys know you are the
so
one
good
and
at
only.
first, and now not so much.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Sorry, man. I hate to ruin it. If you look at I made a post this week about my next guest coming up, and started with the one and only as well. So, yeah, I apologize.
Feel worse by the
Maybe
moment.
I shouldn't have said that. I should have just kept it to myself.
Well, but Sam actually commented, noted Your Highness. I agree with that too.
That's a good one, dude. Yeah, or the Emperor, something like that. You're a Star Wars fan. I heard that you think. I heard you think Darth Vader is the hero of the story. Is that correct?
Darth Vader is the hero. Let's be very clear. Darth Vader is the hero. That man sacrificed himself to balance for the dark side, because the Jedi were just overrunning everything. They were like roaches, and they were overpopulating. And so too much of anything, even if it seems to be good at first, too much of it becomes an oppressive personality and mentality and everything else. Mm-hmm. So Darth Vader sacrificed himself and his family and did this for all of us. Thank you, Darth.
That is a good it's a good take. I haven't heard. My co-founder is a huge Star Wars guy, so I'd like to hear his opinion on that. That's a good one. I heard that you have a Darth Vader tattoo. There you go. One of my really good buddies has a Darth Vader tattoo as well. So he is the best character, though. Like legit, he's the best character. He has the most depth by far.
Oh, he does, and he's every Darth after that wants to be just like him.
Right.
They all want to be just like him, and they can't be because he's just so bad.
I'm just glad you're not a Jar Jar Binks fan. You know what I'm saying? Like
they ruined him. They ruined him in the movies. Let's be clear. If anybody is a Star Wars fan, they know that they ruined Jar Jar Binks.
That was rough, man. Well, anyways,
goofy, like he was just corny and like
I don't know. Yeah, he was. I remember as a kid being a big Jar Jar fan, and I got older and I'm like, how could I ever have been a Jar Jar Binks fan? You know, so
because he was built for children.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, as an adult, I see that now. Like, oh, he's like a bad version of the Disney animal, like in the princess movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's like an idiot the whole time. I don't get it. Like, and meanwhile, he's like a hero until he becomes a villain, and even then, he's even cooler.
That's true, man. Well, it's good to have you on. I could talk about Star Wars for a while, but we're here to talk about PitchIT IT from ConnectWise. Mm-hmm. Sean, tell us what this is, and we can go into why I'm involved, because I'm sure everybody's asking that question.
So for those that don't know, which I'm not sure who would know vendor-wise at this point, but you never know. PitchIT is a Shark Tank-like competition. We're in our 8th year approximately running this, but this is my 4th going in 5th year of doing this with them. And what it is, like I said, a Shark Tank competition for startup vendors that are, they are providing the same mission as ConnectWise is, which is supporting MSPs. One of the rules is, you have to be able to integrate into ConnectWise, or else we don't want you part of the competition, just frankly. But you should want to anyway, because again, in support of the MSP mission, we already know that ConnectWise is one of the anchor products of the industry. The PSA and the RMM and they are anchors for most MSPs in general, whether it's ours or somebody else's. But back to the competition, this is a competition, and I'm stressing that because yes, we do have an accelerated incubator program for 16 weeks, which you'll be part of now. So thank you, with your podcasting. But it is the whole 16 weeks is to help them to redefine and refine their messaging, so they can actually properly present their business offer, their solution, the value to the industry, so MSPs want to buy their product. We typically take in between 24 and 26 vendors approximately a year. They go through an application process, and we sort them out as a team, and we pick from the team, we pick out who we think are the best. And it's not just who we think, we base it off of various things, such as what do they provide? What are they offering? 1, 2, we start looking at their digital footprint to see what they do in the space. They have to have customers by it. This is not a concept competition. This is, you already have customers. We are looking for people with staying power because we want them to be part of the community. The only way you can be part of the community is if you have staying power. But once we get through the first 16 weeks, we'll take all 26 vendors, if it's 26 or whatever it's going to be this year, and we will have them do a preliminary pitch with the channel program with our good friend Matt Solomon and Kevin Lancaster to do this. And we'll have them do an internal pitch to some of our higher up leadership. And from there, we will take all scores. By the way, they all know what they're getting scored on because they will get the report card. They get the report card that the scorecard that everybody's using. So they already know what to look for. Everything's very transparent. And at the end of all the pitches, and it's like over a 6-day ordeal, it's a lot of hours. We'll select the 3 finalists from the scoring, and those 3 finalists will move on to compete live at IT Nation Connect Global in November. We upped the ante this year. In previous years, it was $100,000. Technically, it was $145,000 because the finalists already win $15,000 or whatever the current running rate is of the startup booth for PitchIT vendors. They get that applied to credit for the following year already to sponsor, which they're going to sponsor anyway. But now, and then there was 100,000, 70,000 the first place and 30 the second. But now we've done it to 150,000. So we've raised the stakes to 50,000 more. But what we did is we lowered the cash prize down to 50,000 that we split between them. And then the other 100,000 is in credit for sponsorship. So this is 2026 and 2027. They can apply the 100,000 to sponsorship in the following year with us. So it's pretty freaking exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate the breakdown. I think it's an awesome opportunity for startups in the channel, in the space, to partner with, an industry giant that ConnectWise is, and to get insights that they wouldn't otherwise normally get. And, for y'all to, foster that innovation in the channel, every vertical, regardless of who they service or what they focus on, innovation needs to be a part of that, right? It's not any different for MSPs in our channel, right? Like, you see so many good startups doing so many good things. And really, and the whole point of the Channel Unfiltered is to talk about, which I'm sure we'll get in here in a second. It's about how emerging technology is changing business outcomes in the business side of the MSP channel, right? And so I'm really excited to partner with PitchIT IT. If you wouldn't mind kind of breaking down why we're partnering, obviously I'm not the only one that you're partnering with, but I'm probably the coolest one, I'm sure. But tell us what's up, man. Yeah,
I was going to say it's because of the beard, but Eric Anthony has a really dope beard also. So it's
okay.
No, so right.
Challenge accepted. Yeah.
so what it boils down to is this: when I was doing startups, there was a few areas that you have to focus on. Most entrepreneur startups, the owners are typically the tech person. They built you'll find that they built some sort of technology to help them solve a problem that they were experiencing on a regular basis, right? I mean, that's why they did it. And they will build a really good product or a really good service or a really good something. Where they usually lack is in the growth aspect. They don't know how to grow their business. They don't know, and they also don't know the ins and outs. Actually, a fun fact is that over the last several years, in all combination of all years of this competition, over 60% of the contestants were or are currently MSPs. So literally, they were building something to solve a problem they had that they thought was unique to themselves, and they built it and solved it. And they would start talking to their friends about it, and be like, "Hey, check this out." And they're like, "Oh, let me check that out." And all of a sudden, they're like, "How do I now grow this?" But they were limited. It's almost like if anybody has ever sold life insurance, right? If you ever see those people, like, it's like all of a sudden your brother's son comes to you, he's like, "I'm selling insurance. Will you check it out?" Kind of like, and they sell to friends and family like a hoagie sale, right?
At the family barbecue, and then everybody stops coming, right? Everyone's like, nobody wants to go the family outing because Josh is going to be there slinging his life insurance. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. You run out of clients, right? You run out of everything. So the problem is, so where we focused on in this, and this is where you come into play, a few pillars here. one pillar is education. So every week we do workshops, right, where we have a practitioner of the space giving a class on whether it's marketing, sales, product road mapping development, M&A, PE, whatever, stage presence, public speaking, product marketing messaging. We have all these different classes every single week, and whoever's given that class actually does that for a living. So it's not just it's not a college class. It's not a professor that's never done it given a class. There's an actual practitioner. So that's education. 2, most of the people that are giving these classes, they're cameo coaches. They're from outside the organization, a lot of them, and they are people that that you'll recognize names of. So the next stage is helping people to increase their network size, especially brand new coming in the industry. They don't know all the people or all the players. So it gives them a way to fast track that. 3rd, and where you come into play, is the brand awareness, creating more exposure for them, making sure people can hear them speak about what's going on. Also help them get reps on pitching themselves and their product, because a lot of these people aren't in on a regular basis pitching. They're building a product. They're running their company as a CEO. They're not really used to it. So it helps them to really start to refine their speak to what they do, but get that necessary exposure so MSPs can't find them.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, especially in the MSP channel, right? Because I have my own company, right? And we came from outside. At least I did. I came from outside the channel. My co-founder actually co-founded another company that later became an MSP. So obviously he's familiar with it, but I wasn't. And one of the things I learned very, very quickly was just how, and I love this is one of the things that I love about the channel amongst many is the relational communal aspect to the channel is massive, right? And I can make it difficult in a lot of ways to break into it when you're first getting started. But it's one of those things that is such a nice change of pace where, my background is SaaS tech, right? And coming in the channel is very transactional. And for the MSP channel, it's just not that way. It's built on trust, relationships, built on respect, which genuinely it is. And I find it incredibly refreshing that it isn't this purely transactional, niche and vertical. And so going back to, these PitchIT companies or PitchIT IT, startups that are part of this competition, to be able to bring value to the channel in these conversations. At least I can speak for the Channel Unfiltered. I'm very open and honest with this, but I don't want people pitching their company or their sales pitch on the channel. What I want them doing is bringing their expertise and their knowledge and bring as much value as humanly possible to those in the channel and bring in their quote unquote thought leadership, that's an overused term in my opinion, to, a conversation. Right. And in so doing, we all get better because you get better about talking about, whether it's talking about your product or your company or just the things that you know and understand, which frankly, in today, we're in the creator economy. People buy people. They don't buy brands. They don't buy companies today, right? They want to do business with a human being, especially in the age of AI and artificial, more so than ever. Authenticity is the new currency. Authenticity has always mattered. Brand has always mattered. It's never mattered more than today, and it's never going to matter more in a year or two from now. If you don't believe me, go listen to Gary Vee and others who have talked about this consistently as well. But I love the idea of bringing these guys on, them, using their brains to bring value to the channel, that communal relational aspect of not trying to get anything in return. We're not here to pitch you. This isn't a sales pitch, dressed up as a podcast episode. No, this is an honest conversation about where the channel is going, what we're seeing from an emerging technology perspective, and how it's affecting it. And how outliers think about those things, right? And how innovators think about those things. So, yeah.
Yep. No, you're spot on. The one thing is authenticity is important, but even regardless of authenticity, you should at least know why you should even listen to this person in the first place. Right. And if you get them telling their story, like they find it's so funny because when I ask them, what do you do? They start getting into the back end and of like this really deep pool of things that don't make a difference to me. How about tell me your origin story?
I want to know you as a human being.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to know who you are. I want to know why I should even trust a word you're saying to me. I want to know that you even possess the expertise that you're talking about. And believe me, I'm not one of those people that's like, I don't believe in speaking off of authority. Like I hate people like, well, do you have a degree in that? Well, that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
I want
agree.
to know that you actually hit like the shit at the fan for you, and and that's why you worked on this and solved that problem and built this product.
Yep.
And now you've used this product 1,000 times internally, and it's worked 1,000 times internally. And now you have some other customers that are friends of yours that also were willing to bet on you, and they used it. And tell me how they used it too and why. Like then it's an educational conversation for people. That's what people miss on. Like when somebody walks up, if you sponsor one of our conferences and you're at a booth, sure, they walk up, hey, how are you? That's great, fine, be cordial. But then after that, be
Yep.
like, hey, you're looking at us. What has you interested in looking at this? And it should be a candid conversation because,
Yep.
like you said, the MSP space is different. You're talking to business owners. They don't have billion-dollar budgets. If they don't hit their quota, they might not be able to pay a bill. Not they don't get paid commission, but they may not be able to pay a bill. And that's a
Yep.
serious thing. So they take their time very serious. So it's kind of like, cut the shit and let's get into business.
I come from a family of small business owners. My dad owned restaurants, which I maintain is probably the hardest small business to own in America. MSPs are up there as well. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's very
The
different
more,
though.
but it is very different, but I grew up with my dad operating those restaurants. My uncle, my grandfather owned automotive shops, right? Like my cousin now runs one of them. Other uncle owned 4 restaurants, right? So like grew up around locally owned small businesses, right? And
Mhm.
myself, like going into the world of sales, one of the things that I saw was missing from a lot of sales professionals' repertoires or skills or however you want to put it is just being a human being, especially when you're talking to SMBs, small and medium-sized businesses. These are just regular guys, man. Like you go and walk up and you talk to the average MSP owner. He's an owner operator. He started as a tech. He wanted to keep doing because he loved the work. He loved servicing people. Wanted to do it his own. Started his own business and grew it. Got some other guys underneath him that he trusted. Grew his customer base, and he's doing his darndest to make sure that his people and his customers and his employees and everybody's taken care of. Right. The last thing
Yeah.
they want is some vendor to come up there and pitch them like they're the best thing since sliced bread, act like a robot, and forget to talk that the person across from them is another human being. It's
Mhm.
just have a conversation like a darn human being, man. If you can solve the pain, if you can bring legitimate value, do that, right? I think it's a big
I
thing for the
agree.
Channel Unfiltered as well, for these PitchIT IT companies as well. Or I keep saying PitchIT IT. I'm sorry, Pitch It. I guess it's just
Just
but
pitch it. That's fine. Whatever.
yeah,
Believe me, it's been
sorry,
called numerous things over the years.
yeah. I
With that.
apologize.
But
I kept
no,
thinking, I was
don't
like,
worry
why do
about
they
it.
call it PitchIT IT? And I remember, well, it's not called PitchIT IT. It's called Pitch It. So,
I mean,
but
if Jamie wants to call pitch it IT, Jamie can call pitch it. It's
yeah,
fine.
but
No,
but
but
my point
this,
being is that these companies in this, like, to be able to have a conversation with me, like, let's just talk as 2 human beings. I think that'll service you well as you get your brand, your name, your company, what you're doing, who you are out there. Is like more than anything, I want to work with that guy because he seemed or that gal because they seem like a genuine human being that I want to do business with. And that is how
absolutely.
business is done in 2026, in my humble opinion.
No, I agree. Well, it's funny we were making fun of Sam being in the green room, but something that I say consistently to him and my team, even said it for years, is I'd rather have 100 friendships than 100 sales. If I get 100 friendships, 100 relationships,
I love that.
sales will come, growth will take place. Sales is just transactional, it means nothing. I'm looking for
Yep.
long-term investment in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna buy commitment rings together. Like I want a heart necklace. I
Promise
want to have
ring.
to get wrap. That's what
Yeah.
we're gonna do.
Just
Exactly.
I,
Like,
can I have one
and
of those? I want to do that.
well, yeah,
That
we're gonna
sounds
be. Yes,
awesome.
we're all yes. By the end of this, I'm gonna look like Mr. T with my literally
Just all
my
your
getting the
charms.
necklaces, all the
Yeah,
necklaces.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
it's awesome.
that it's the truth. 100. I'd rather have 100 relationships than 100 sales, and
I
people
love
should
that.
think that way because if they start thinking that way, they start thinking long-term investment in their time. It'll prevent them from doing the unethical things because you're never going
Yes.
to be unethical to your friend or your family. I mean, unless
Yep.
you're a dirtball and those exist.
Yeah.
But,
You'd be
but
surprised, but
you,
for this
well,
example, you shouldn't, right?
I wouldn't be surprised either. However, this is the next point though that I make. You have to build your own brand. I shouldn't rely on the company I work for to build my brand. I should have my own brand because my brand is my standard.
Yes.
And once
Yep.
I've established my brand and my standard, you can trust me. It's almost like the JD Bauer Award, right? Like, oh, the JD Bauer Award boss stamp, which is kind of meaningless now, but it seems like every car in the world has it. But once you're involved, there's credibility. So if I move from this company to the next company to the next company, and every company after that, anybody I go to reaps the benefit of my brand, right? This way, also, when I go in the door to negotiate and talk to people, I already have a level of authority because I've done all the right stuff. And again, that comes
you're
back to taking care
trusted.
of your friends.
Right. Like at the end of the day, you're trusted, man. Because look, I can speak from experience. Nobody's going to do business with anybody that they don't trust. Right. They're not buying the product; they're buying you. A lot of times,
Right.
like your product may be solving the problem, it may be driving the outcome. But if they don't trust you, they don't respect you, don't think you're going to take good care of them. You haven't built that relationship. They're never going to buy into what you're building. I mean, like I said, I speak from experience on that, and I love that you bring up ethical entrepreneurship, because that's actually, for my company, that was the first core value that I would put on paper when I wrote those out, was be ethical. And I think that is a non-negotiable for. I mean, if you're in business, I believe that's a non-negotiable. Unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world, but I can tell you this: coming on the Channel Unfiltered, that is a core requisite, to a prerequisite, excuse me, to have a conversation here, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're doing business, you've got to have that ethical foundation, in my opinion. So I love that you brought that up.
You absolutely do.
Value.
I'm glad you said all that too, because you're right. I mean, if you're not confident enough to be transparent, then you're doing the wrong things.
Yes, absolutely.
You're not transparent because you're hiding something because you're nervous about it, right?
Yep.
Something went wrong.
Yep. And who are you behind the closed doors, right? Like, that's an old saying. It's become a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true, right? What you do in public is what you do in private. That's how you know you're a consistent human being, right? Doesn't change. Same thing with the business, right? What you do in public and what you do behind closed doors as a business, it's the same principle. So,
amen. And actually, that takes you right into a specific conversation we have when we talk about growth, is setting those proper expectations, because some people find themselves not setting the proper expectations, and they back themselves into a corner with a prospect or a client. Now they're chasing their tail, trying to get it together. And that's because they just didn't set the proper expectation of, this is the problem we solve. This is how we solve it. If you're going to work with us, this is that. And I'm being very specific because startup companies are notorious for chasing deals because they need money. And I understand and I appreciate that. But at some point, are you really making money, or are you losing money because you've now chased this person to the ends of the world, right? And you've made $10,000, great, but you probably spent 40 grand in resources, not paying attention. And also, it's not a mass market appeal. That one unique thing, unless everybody wants it, you don't do it. And also, be refined on what your offering is. That's another big problem. You start your business and you're like, we're solving X, whatever X is. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, well, it overlaps with blah, blah, blah. Yeah, every technology overlaps with everything somewhere, but you can't be everything. Plenty of companies have tried. The largest companies in the world, Microsoft, Salesforce, they've all tried. They've all failed because you can't be everything. So nobody expects you to be either. The best thing you can do is figure out how to present exactly what you do, how you solve it, what you're solving for, and then look to be really good friends with other vendors for integration points because you know they're using them. Just make it.
That goes in that relational communal thing. That's not just on the. It's not just on the business relationship side, or the customer to the vendor side.
No,
that's vendor to vendor as well, right? Absolutely. I mean, I look at my journey, the channel so far, and man, I've built some really cool friendships, like genuine friendships and like relationships, and I feel confident that, I mean, and then maybe not every integration, but a lot of the integrations that we have, the partners that we have. Heck, we announced one today that it started because we just became acquaintances and got to be friends and thought, you know what, I trust this guy and he trusts me, and and there's genuine mutual value here to operate off of and to help each other, right? And so I couldn't agree more, man. Well, I'm glad that we took this time to, like, talk about what we're doing here with PitchIT, not PitchIT IT.
I'm excited.
PitchIT by ConnectWise, right? With the one and only His Majesty, the Emperor Sean Lardo. Thanks for making the time, man.
We can even go with the Emperor is fine, but not really, because I'm more of the Dark Lord.
The Dark
just
Lord.
because of Darth Vader,
Yeah, sure. That makes me think of Voldemort too, though. My wife's a Harry Potter.
I like bad guys, man. I also have I also have the Transformer the Decepticons.
Decepticons.
I support
Typically,
that.
I mean, I will say bad guys traditionally have been the more interesting character arcs, right?
They're cooler.
So,
I mean,
I get
okay.
ya.
Think about Transformers. The Autobots, they drove like trucks and cars. And then here comes Decepticons with fighter jets.
Yeah, right.
Which one
That
do you
makes sense.
want?
My
I mean,
my favorite
Bumblebee-
character in all of nerddom is Wolverine, and I like him because he's complicated for Marvel. So, yeah,
he's neutral. He's a good guy, but he's not a good guy. He's like doesn't give a shit. Like,
yep, yeah,
he killed everybody and everything.
yep.
And then he found Jesus, and he was okay for a while. And then he got mad again and killed everybody and everything again. So,
Hey, we're all works in progress. I know that. Well, Sean, thanks for being here, man. Thanks for taking the time. I'm really excited to be a part of PitchIT with you and with the companies. I'm very excited to meet them. I'm excited to do the live streams on LinkedIn under the Channel Unfiltered banner and to bring genuine value to the channel with these companies and to get to know them as human beings. So thanks again for making the time, man.